Hey guys, Aaron here, Melody behind the camera,
Hello?
Grimlock. Welcome to House of Haha. So, a couple months back, we stayed at a campground in the Sierras in the Sequoia National Forest. We didn't get a chance to do a review of the campground or our time there that we really enjoyed because we had a friend staying with us and we just never get around to it. So, we're staying here at another forest campground that's kind of similar. We're sitting inside a tent that we actually found at the campground in a trash can that someone tossed out. So, if you just sort of imagine the general settings that we're there right now, we'll give a review of what we thought of our time there. Is that right, Melody?
Sure.
Okay, so the campground we're referring to is called the Cold Springs Campground. It is in Mineral King in the Sequoia National Park.
Yep. Toward the south.
Towards the south. This is in the Sierras.
It's a high elevation campground.
Very high elevation. I think like, I don't know, was it 12,000-ish, something like that?
7,200 feet.
I overestimated 7,200 feet, but it's still pretty high up. It's I believe the mountain there, or that area, is called the Mineral King. It is a what they call a developed campsite. So it's got, picnic tables and fire rings and all that sort of stuff. Other amenities that it came with that we found there was it did have water, at least a couple spots. I should say in the water too. It's called the Cold Spring Campground because the mountain right next to it, there's springs that run through there that they get their water from. So the water, in my opinion, tasted really good. It had bathrooms, which is nice. They were pit toilet bathrooms. They were regularly maintained. There's a ranger station directly just around the corner from the campsite, so it had regular visits from rangers and service and things like that. They were there on a daily basis, so the bathrooms were updated, toilet paper, things like that. And so they're in pretty good condition. I really couldn't complain about them that much.
It was a little smelly, but
It's a pit toilet, so you kind of we've learned to have a varying degree when it comes to toilets. What we find, acceptable, because it's a pit toilet, so so much you can do. But they maintained it, took care of it. The cost on this campground was only $12, which, based on our experience going through the different campgrounds in this Sequoia National Park, this was the most affordable. So if the other ones were running you somewhere in the $20 range, $12 for this one. Very reasonably priced. The stay limit there, you can stay a total of 14 days, which is pretty average for most one. If we'd had the time to stay there, I think we would have, because it was pretty beautiful. I really liked it. What else about this one? It had it didn't have any, there was no stores nearby, so if you're looking to go shopping or things in the area, I think there was a resort like a little bit up the road. It had a general store, so if you're looking for supplies, things like that, you could get some, but
it was miles
away. Prices. It wasn't close.
The access road in was over 20 miles of a dirt road. It was narrow and winding, and you had to watch for people coming at you on the wrong side of the road.
One of those ones where you can't quite see around the curve, so you've got to be over here, and someone's got to give away to get through. And so prepare when you want to get there. It's a beautiful drive, but like Melody said, you're looking about 30 miles of bumpy dirt road.
And if it were raining, that would be a muddy dirt road.
That's what I was about to say. It would not be a fun drive down. But as far as clearance in the road too, would you think most cars could go up and down that? You didn't really need a super high clearance vehicle.
No, we saw some fairly tiny vehicles navigate that road. So
our friend had a motorcycle that he was driving down that, so
he was happier than we were, probably.
Much. Other things there, like I said, there was a ranger station nearby. They're there on a regular basis. They do some in-service things there, some of the specialty things they offer. So if you want to go to learn a little bit about nature, about the specific area, they have a little amphitheater they can sit you down in during a fire pit thing, a little fire sit around. There's a word for that, I'm sure. And
a fireside chat.
Fireside chat. Thank you. That they have available that I went to and I really enjoyed it. Found it very informative. Number of sites. I want to say there was at least 12, if not more, sites in there. And they were pretty well spaced out. So you weren't on top of each other. There was a good gap between them. As far as privacy, if you looked around, you could see other campsites, but you really couldn't hear them. So I didn't think it was too bad in that way.
Plus, all the campsites were like individually cool. Like they all,
yes,
they would be by the river, or if it wasn't on the riverside, it would have like little rock formations that were pretty cool, and also mountain lions. Because I liked rock formations. To me, just scream mountain lions.
Something to attack you from above.
Yeah.
It was. I would say I would agree 100% with you on that one. That everyone was fairly unique. It wasn't a cookie cutter kind of campsite.
Yeah, they were they were nice.
And they had in the different sizes. I mean, I don't think there was any spots for like RV parking or pop-ups. So you're really looking at more of a tent camping situation. And I don't think I saw anyone bring pop-ups or RVs up there.
I don't think they're recommended over a certain length to even go up that road. So.
I wouldn't. It just didn't seem. It seems like a bad idea. What else? You mentioned the animals, so we might as well talk about that one. There is mountain lions, we were told, in that area.
They had been sighted recently. We were there in June, by the way.
Yes,
so.
That's an important thing to reference on at the time of year we were there. There was bears. We did not see any, but
we saw a bear print.
We did see a good-sized bear print. The weather there switches and changes, and that's when I mentioned that as far as the bear print, because when we first got there, it was warm and sunny, and then it would rain a little bit, and then at one point it snowed like 5 inches for a night, and then it was sunny the next day. So it's mountain weather when you're high up. So the reason I would point at the bear paw, because we saw some of the snow in the mud when it chomped through, and that's probably the reason we caught it. What else? Appearance, I'd say it's a very clean campground.
That's cool. The rangers go around like multiple times per day, so
Anytime
like they've got their eye on you and stuff like that. And their station is less than a mile away. There's hikes to falls.
Yes.
There's according to the ranger we spoke to, it's too high up in that area for ticks, too high up for mosquitoes, and too high up for rattlesnakes. So you just have to deal with the bears and the mountain lions.
Yes.
But they did have bear boxes there.
Thank you. That's something I forgot to mention. They did have bear boxes. That was the plus of amenities. Whenever you're in bear country and they very emphasize the presence of bears, it's always nice to provide you something, to use.
Another warning was that California is coming out of its drought. The rivers are like bursting their banks. And even though it did not look that big or crazy, the rangers were very nervous about anybody approaching the river. They only wanted to take photos from the bridge.
Our friend got yelled at.
Yeah, and I mean, and to us it kind of seemed like they were overreacting a little, but then we heard a week or so later that someone died in the river. They got pulled in and died.
It was no joke.
They probably thought it was not a big deal either. So
it was all whitewater rapids. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, you stand on the bridge they have that separates the road that goes into the campground. That view from there was stunning. I mean, so many beautiful photos you could get from there. But
it looks like Christmas up there, especially when it snows. There's so many pine trees. It was just so nice. And then they had these amazing sunsets, and that. You couldn't always see the mountain because there was so much fog there, because there was definitely a good amount of fog. We definitely experienced some mountain weather while we were there, but we were fairly prepared. So
we're pretty much set for it. Yeah, it was. I appreciate good mountain weather because I'm someone who doesn't like the same weather every day, and mountain weather will certainly switch it up on you like that. We went over the animals, insects. I don't think they had any specialty rules or anything like that.
Just stay away from the freaking river.
Stay away from the river. Put your stuff away. Bear box situations. Keep your trash up. Again, the rangers had a heavy presence in that area, which I didn't mind. Any oddities? I don't think there was anything.
Just the snow. Because a lot of people don't expect snow in June, but people don't really always consider elevation in the thing. But that was cool.
And someone asked us, what's something you learned traveling around the country you didn't know before? And I was like, I didn't know it snowed in June.
In California, people think it's like all surf and sun.
It was a beautiful place. We loved it. It would be someplace I'd return to a number of times. Also, we should mention, too, this is in the Sequoia National Park. Now, I think you do have to pay to get into the park itself, right? If you don't have a pass. So in addition to the camping fee, there's the cost to get into the park. Now, the park itself, I think Melody would agree on this, we'd highly recommend that for anybody. Yeah. That park was amazing. Those trees, if you've never seen a tree that's big as a house, it's
General Sherman is there. What's the other one?
There's the Sentinel.
It's two German, not two generals. I mean, not Germans.
It's like the General Sherman tree, and then there was another one which was the Founders tree.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
So there's
giant trees.
There's a lot to do as far as sights and scenes. You have the park right there. You have the hiking. You have the waterfalls. Things like that. There's a lot to do in that. We totally highly recommend people to go check it out.
Yeah.
So if you have any comments or anything, any questions about the park, or that you'd like to find out more information that we didn't cover in this video, please comment. We're happy to answer any questions. If you're someone who's been there yourself and you'd like to leave some comments and thoughts about your time there, drop a note. Tell us what you thought. Thank you for checking in. And as always, have a reasonable day.
Bye.